Maurison Media Group celebrates her 2025 anniversary lecture, a celebration of the group's pioneering status as River State's first indigenous private broadcaster via Atlantic Television Network, Media Academy, and Wish FM 99.5, and a platform for intellectual reflection on media's societal role. The welcome address by the chairman, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, frames the event as a dual-purpose milestone. The speech hinges on resilience, defined as the capacity to recover and grow stronger through adversity, supported by community. He illustrates this with Maurison's decade-long license struggle since 2007 to 2016, economic volatility and political challenges, crediting innovative strategies and a supportive network for transforming these into a media empire. This resilience mirrors River State's ambition, reframing its narrative from negativity to progress. Maurison Media is positioned as a socio-economic and cultural force, boosting employment, supporting governance, and narrating regional stories globally. He emphasizes sustainability, aligning media with the UN SDGs through advocacy, example, climate change awareness, policy influence, holding leaders accountable, and public engagement via platforms like Atlantic Town Hall. Challenges like misinformation and political interference are acknowledged, underscoring the need for ethical journalism. The address also highlights historic first, hosting Professor Umar Pet and Professor Tony Iradia, an inducting Society of Nigerian Broadcasters members. Gratitude to staff, audience, and partners reinforces the communal theme, while a call to action urges attenders to shape a media landscape championing truth, equity, and democracy. Well, the core elements were resilience, personal and institutional strength through adversity. We talk about legacy. Maurison as a trailblazer in regional media, also his purpose, media as a tool for education, justice, and sustainability. We also look at community success tied to collective support. Well, quite interesting. I'll begin with you, Honorable Barioma Raphael. You were right there at the event. I mean, congratulations to Maurison Communications, Maurison Media Groups, once again for that. It was a colorful event last week, Monday, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoy. You were part of that event. I would like you to also share your experience as regards the anniversary lecture of Maurison Communications.
All right, first of all, I think I must tell you, it was something very much motivating.
All right.
Articulating and directing. You know, when it comes to media, it's very much important because if you're not informed, you're deformed, and that is a necessity. So the Maurison Media Group, it was a wonderful thing, and for them to come up with such idea, a way to keep enlightening the public that they should know the necessity and the beauty in media job. You know, doing such, I think it will keep on, making the society a better place for human survival. Because we are together, put it 21st century where all they finish the, put it the polytechnic and all that. They don't have job. They don't. Many of them they fall back to farming.
All right.
Some of them who came from villages, they have to fall back because they can't lay their hand on something. Because of this platform, many of them are fully engaged, whereby they can do one or two based on what they study in school. So I think it's a way of supporting good governance in Nigeria, or Port Harcourt City, Nigeria.
All right. Well, Dr. Paul, and let me shift to you now. I'd like to get your take. I mean, last week, Monday, Maurison Communications celebrates her fifth anniversary with so many dignitaries in attendance. We have the likes of Tony Iradia, Omar Pet, and the rest of them. It was event to behold. We had so many lectures, we had so many analysts talked about media, journalism, and looking at the fact that Atlantic Television Network as well as Maurison Communications happens to be the best the indigenous TV station in River State and South as a whole. They've done so much in terms of championing, good governance, in the nation so well. I'd like to get your take on this, so far. What are the benefits? Looking at what Atlantic Television have done so far, and we'll also take a look at the chairman of Maurison Communications welcome address. You heard it. So when I read it, so I would like to get your take as regards to this too.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Victor. Yeah, I think it is a thing of joy, and the chairman demands accolades. I want to congratulate him, and also want to congratulate his team for the good job they are doing, especially in River State. Being the first indigenous television network, I know he may have encountered so many challenges to arrive to where he is now. And beside that, again, for someone to celebrate, that means there are achievements. There are successes that have been recorded. You cannot just assemble eminent people calling for celebration when there is nothing to show. So to have that kind of calibers of personalities in Nigeria to grace the occasion, that means that he is doing well. And as a Rivers indigene, I am proud of him. And then praying that we should see more persons, coming from the media sector in Rivers State precisely. I also do wish him to, advance, getting to a certain level where we can talk about channel televisions and others too. But I know he has started well, and definitely he will get to that particular point. All we do is to pray for him to continue the good work, remain unbiased, focus on issue-based discussions. Especially you mentioned about good governance. Yes. Without the media, how can we talk about the good governance, especially when it has to do with communication between the government and the people? Okay, not everyone will be in the political system, especially in government. So what it means that for the indigenes, for the citizens to follow up the political activities, within River State, for instance, let me just focus because we are talking about River State, but in Nigeria and world generally, media cannot be excluded. And when we are talking about media cannot be excluded, that means the Atlantic Television Network is bringing governance closer to people. Whatever that may be the gap between the governments and those that are being governed is being filled up. Okay, one may argue that perhaps it's not everybody that may be accessible to it, but through the radio, through the television, we are beginning to be aware of what the government of the day is doing. The citizens are also being included in terms of participation. If you cannot be there, through discussions, through views, and perhaps comments that are being made, you contribute towards the how you are being ruled, and then the functions of the government, and at times acting as a checks and balances, knowing fully that a media like this is existing and is watching, and whatever that happens, we pass the information across to the people, and whatever be the people's own opinion towards the government is also being communicated to the government through the media. So I commend him and then wishes him well to get to the greater height.
Exactly. So